You're still watching Prime Morning. Now, 26th of this month, talking about August, 26th of August, just Saturday, the NPP will have its Super Delegate Conference, and we have 10 people who are aspiring to become the flag bearer of the party. But the party decided some time ago to have a Super Delegate Conference so they can sieve the numbers down, so they can actually have one person at the end of the day. They are sieving the numbers from 10 to 5 on Saturday. Who will the top 5 be? We are yet to know, but we'll definitely get to know at the end of the day on Saturday, or probably first thing Sunday morning. There's a camp that has been campaigning very strong, very hard, and I'm talking about the camp that we say honorable. He's not an honorable, actually. He's a vice president of our country. We are talking about Dr. Bawumia's camp. Now, his people are speaking highly about him. Why are they campaigning for him? Why do they think he is the right person to become the flag bearer of the NPP? Joining us this morning on Prime Morning is Honorable Fusaini Isa, who is a former MP and also a part of the Bawumia must become the flag bearer of the NPP campaign. Good morning, Honorable.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, and welcome to our studios this morning.
Thank you.
And how are you feeling? Do you have a nostalgic feeling with regards to Saturday?
And let me say good morning to your viewers as well. It's been building up over time, and we are very expectant on Saturday. And it's not the ultimate though, but it's a means to the ultimate. The party itself put these arrangements together because of some historical events that didn't inure very much to the benefit of to the electoral fortunes of the party. Since then, we've put in this arrangement where when we had more than 5 people filed to represent the party at any general elections, we had to go to a super delegates conference. Times that we've had super delegates congress in the past, it's been an indication of what was going to happen in the final elections, and I'm expectant that this is also going to be one of them.
Well, most of your people are saying you're expecting a 70% win or more.
It's not us saying, but the independent pollsters and institutions who have actually undertaken these polls. 70%, that's what they're saying. But if you read most of those polls, there's some significant chunk of people who were undecided at the time of the polls, and we hope that they also make an impact on where the results actually go on Saturday. We are very expectant. The vice president has distinguished himself since he got into frontline politics. Within our party, we think that it's the first time that we want to do something that has never happened in this country. A party going beyond 2 terms, and because we want to do something extraordinary, we need an extraordinary candidate to lead the party at this time. And he stands tall amongst all the people who have filed. Some of us have been fortunate to have had some interactions with some of the people within the 10. And I can tell you that the vice president stands tall in there at this material moment. I think that he is the guy who has to lead the party, and
what makes him so unique amongst the other 9?
Dr. Bawumia, since he's burst into frontline politics, even before then, he had played significant roles in very significant things that have happened in this country. Casting our minds back to his role at the central bank, where he was very key in very significant decisions. The HIPIC initiative, the renomination of the CD, the role he played between the fiscal and monetary policy at the time, until 2008 when he actually burst onto the end. And since then, he has made significant contributions to this tradition, to this party, that shows that given the opportunity to lead the party, he is going to take the New Patriotic Party to a point where we will win every election in there. I'm saying this because if you look at the strength of the New Patriotic Party prior to, or even in the early days of Dr. Bawumia, we have been very strong in the Ashanti region, in the Eastern region. That has been our traditional strongholds. At every elections, the swing of the Central region is significant. The Greater Accra is a fairly even one. And then if you look at the northern sector, it's always been our Waterloo. I mean, the New Patriotic Party has not been very strong in that part of the country, although the antecedents of this party actually comes from that part of Ghana. What Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been able to bring to the fore is to strengthen the party in that side of the country, to the extent that today, when you look at the old northern region as it used to be, and the NPP is ahead of the NDC, and you have to actually drill down on the figures, on the parliamentary seats, on electoral fortunes. I mean, it's a region where the NDC used to win by about 80%. It's no more the case. They used to have 27 seats, whilst we only want 7 seats. Today, as we speak, it's 16 for NPP and 15 for NDC, if you look at the old northern region. So if we are able to give, or when we give this opportunity to Dr. Bawumia, and he consolidates the gains that we've done in the northern sector of the party, of the country, in addition to Ashanti region and Eastern region, I think that we'll win elections in Ghana for perpetuity. I mean,
so that's no what way. Distinguishes him from the other 9.
I mean, for a politician, you need to win elections. If you don't win elections, your ideas.
You don't think you don't think any of the other 9, if elected as a flag bearer of the party, can actually help break the 8?
I am speaking about the strengths of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and why I think that he should be given this opportunity at this time.
Right.
His contribution is not just with the electoral fortunes of the party. His contribution to the party itself and where we've come from, the politics, the management of the economy, how this party is changed over time. It's one thing that he stands tall. I mean, given the people in the field who are contesting. That is why I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be given the
opportunity. That's fine. You can join the conversation by sending your messages. We are talking about the reason why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should become the flag bearer of the NPP. But there are so many questions that I know you want to ask. But we also have more questions to ask you, Honorable. Now, Honorable, we like the fact that you have spoken about, how he aided in the CD redomination and everything. Now let's go into this one. People are of the opinion that when Dr. Bawumia was coming to power, he stood on a lot of platforms and promised that he was going to make sure that the cedi to the dollar ratio was going to be very good. We look at the time where the NDC left power, and we look at the cedi ratio. And today, when we look at the cedi ratio, people are actually saying that what he said, he should swallow his words. And so for that, they feel that he's not man enough to become the flag bearer of the party. Do you agree with that?
What Dr. Bawumia said in the run-up to 2016 elections were true, and they are still true today. If you look at the performance of the economy, I mean, whatever indicator you want to look at, whether the depreciation of the cedi, the growth of the economy, inflation rate, whatever indicator you wanted to, if you look at the period between 2017 and 2019, we were on track. Whatever we said, the depreciation of the cedi was lowest within that time. Inflation was single digit for most of that time. The economy grew from an economy that we inherited was growing at about 3-point-something%. Over 12 months, the economy started growing averagely between 2017 and 2019 by over 7%. And that's significant. Whatever he said in the run-up to 2016 elections were true, and they are still true today. And he stands by them. Given the headwinds or the circumstances that we have had to deal with, I mean, this is an era where, in our lifetime, in living memory, nobody alive has gone through what economists in this world have gone through. We saw it registered in other economies. And the UK economy, the US economy, they were recording inflation at 40-year high. And every economy is now recovering from the process. Given that if we didn't have COVID, if we didn't have the geopolitics issues in Europe, in Eastern Europe, we would have been on track, but we were detracted from it. I was in Parliament. We had to do things. Look, typically, when we came into power in 2018, we had passed an act, the Fiscal Responsibility Act, that limited the deficit spending every year to about 5% of GDP. Then COVID struck. When COVID struck, the projection was that by June of 2020, we were going to pick dead bodies on the streets of Accra and across Africa. Nobody knew where we were going. So as a government, the president led the
prediction
process. By WHO.
No,
initially when COVID struck, when we didn't understand how the virus was going to behave, there were these projections all over. Oh, by a number of international organizations.
If people speculate, we know where these speculations came from. We know that what's his name? I'll try and get his name. He and his wife actually came out to say that, and it's not WHO that said it. He said it was Bill Gates. Sorry, it was Bill Gates. I got that name. It was Bill Gates and his wife who came out to say that people in Africa will die and we'll see them on the streets. But WHO never said anything like that.
When Bill Gates and his wife Melina talk about this, they have a foundation, and that's well grounded, well founded, and so they have some basis. So when there is a global pandemic of that structure and they make a pronouncement, you
but
can't just
WHO.
If they are not they are not WHO.
Thank you.
If we had not listened to them and it had happened that way, only God knows what would have happened today. We had this projection, right? And the president led a process. He said, look, we can bring economies back to life, but we can't bring human beings back to life. So we're going to do everything. Look, I was in Parliament when we came. The restrictions where we put on the management of we had to lift it. We had to go to the Bank of Ghana and do bonds just to ensure that lives were protected. And these were all things that we had not projected for. Look, we inherited a system where the banking system in this country were on its knees. You can say whatever or interpret whatever is happening to the financial sector. We had spent close to 25 billion. And there is an opportunity cost to this 25 billion. If we didn't have to do the restructuring of the financial sector and had to spend those through our budgets, I'm sure the roads in Akwetima would have fixed. The problems of the free senior high school would have been fixed. So we have had peculiar headwinds that we have dealt with, particularly from 2020. And that is what has created the challenges for this economy. But we have proven,
but
given the economy that we inherited and where we took it to prior to COVID, we have proven that we have what it takes to be able to fix these challenges, and that is why we want Dr. Bawumia in the saddle to be able to fix these challenges that we are encountering.
Honorable, you know, with regards to the banking sector that you just mentioned, there are so many people out there, the ordinary Ghanaian, again, I'll go to that side, because the ordinary Ghanaian who lost his job, who's still struggling for a job, who might not understand why you will fix a banking crisis with 25 billion. And we still have, as of today, we have BOG with a deficit or a loss of 60 billion. If the NDC should come to power and say that because of this we have to also fix the banking sector, then it means that we are going to have losses of jobs again. So again, we're going to that year where the banking sector was being fixed and people have lost their jobs. To you it's been fixed, but to them our livelihoods were taken away.
I tell you that the process of fixing the financial sector, right, saved the deposits of millions of Ghanaians. Else we would have woken up one morning and would have been told that the banking sector has gone bankrupt, and so everybody who had deposits in the bank will not have access to it. That is the process that we started, and that is the process that we fixed. We saved more jobs, because if we had sat down for the banking sector to collapse, thousands more jobs would have been lost. We saved about 3,000 jobs in that process. And I mean, for economy to have its banking sector collapse, it meant that the economy was actually non-existent, and we couldn't have sat down for that to happen. Just supposing that into what happened into or what's happening at the central bank. The central bank itself, it was not set up as a profit-making organization. The central bank is the lender of last resort. It is the bank of the central of government, right? And we have said, I mean, the finance minister was in Parliament. He had announced a DDE. He had said that this process was going to start. And the lender of last resort, the government's bank, will have to take the hit at any point in time. So the profitability or otherwise of the central bank, it is not the most important indicator on how the central bank is doing. And the Act 621 set up the central bank, and it is there. It is to provide the money or guide the monetary policy in our economy, and that is what is happening. So if the central bank is still policy solvent, that is enough for us. That is not to say that the central bank is making losses. It's not a worry to us. We would have preferred the central bank making profits, but it is not the most important indicator for the central bank. So that is also an issue. And more so, I mean, there's a roadmap as to how to get us out of this. So these are challenges, and they are unique to those times. They are unique to given what is happening in the global economy. because of what happened in the COVID era, because of inflation, economists were trying to bring inflation down, interest rates were going up, and we were found in a unique situation.
Don't you think, looking at everything that is happening currently, again, we speak in parables in the ears of the ordinary Ghanaian who might not really understand.
These are not parables. They are relatives on the ground.
I said, to them, it's parables.
That is not. They are not parables.
My reason for saying this, Honorable, let me clarify before. My reason for saying this is because during campaign, what we are told is we'll put monies in your pocket.
Sure.
During campaigns, we will make sure we seize the dollar to the city. We'll make sure the city is strengthened. During campaign, life will become comfortable. You can go buy food easily. During campaign, we'll make sure that we bridge the gap between poverty and riches. During campaign, but we don't speak this language. Now, in this time, the language is being explained more. But that Ghanaian man out there, all they thought about was, he said he'll put money in my pocket. He said he will, seize the city. He said he was going to help me to be able to have a comfortable life, move me from poverty to probably a middle class. But now I am depreciating. So won't that affect Dr. Bawumia in a way? Because Dr. Bawumia stood on several platforms and made these campaign promises. And
I still stand by the point I made earlier on. What he said then were true, and today they are still true. You see, when in an economy, there's a macro level, which is a national level, looking at all indicators and all of that. And there's a micro level, which is an individual's peculiar situation. What it is that if the macro level, it's not fixed, it's very difficult for the micro level to be fixed. And for the micro level to be fixed, one, the economy has to grow. There has to be semblance or real stability. There has to be exchange rates. All these indicators will have to be in place for you to be able to fill it. When we have things happening of global significance, like we're saying, Ghana is plugged into a global economy. Today, what the reality is that what happens in the US, what happens in advanced markets, has direct impact on what happens in Ghana, because we are plugged in there, especially since 2007 when we decided to go on the international capital market and be doing transactions there. What happens? Let's say interest rates in the US go up. There are US people who have invested in this economy because they were chasing higher returns. If their returns become better in the US, they will withdraw their money and go to a safer market, because the US certainly is considered a much safer market than Ghana. In the process of withdrawal, they have to get dollars. And so it dovetails into exchange rate and all of that. And given where we are coming from, especially from 2020, where in living memory, economies were shut down. For us in Accra, for weeks on end, you couldn't even leave home. There was no productivity. And so within that time, the economy itself was not growing because there was no productivity. And so these are realities that we have had to face with. In 2016, even as late as 2019 budget, I was a member of parliament, I was on the finance committee. We did a budget for 2020. Nowhere in this world did anybody budget for the occurrences from February 2020. But we had to face it headlong because we're in the saddle. And that is what we have had to contend with.
Right. Now let's come to what people are saying. I've heard a few people say this, and this is the analogy. If Honorable Alan Kojo should become the flag bearer of the NPP, the possibility that you have a lot of accounts come out to vote for the NPP is high. Your majority stronghold is the Akan area. When you have Dr. Bawumia as the flag bearer, the possibility that you have a lot of Northerners come out to vote is high. But that is not your stronghold. Now in the North is divided, where you have him and John Dramani Mahama, who is on the ticket of the NDC. Now, if you weigh this option, it means that possibly Honorable Alan Kojo could help you break the 8 as compared to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Do you agree with this analogy?
Well, that's your analogy. But
I didn't say mine. I said that's what people are saying.
Those are the analogies. Okay. But let me make a point. But for the incursions that we have made in Northern Region, if you look at Parliament today, it is 137 plus 1 against 137 plus 1. If we had not won the 16 seats that we won in the Northern Region, which I believe is directly related to the work that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have had to do in that side of the country. If we had not won the 16 seats, we probably would have been sitting on the left-hand side of the speaker today, would have been in minority with a majority president. That is the contribution of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He had brought seats that traditionally were not NPP. This analogy of it, look, if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wins the Flagbearership, and that I believe is going to happen, when he wins, he is going to go to elections with another Northerner. He is not going to compete against an Akan person. He is going to compete against John Dramani Mahama. And they will both be Northerners. So unless you say, because I'm Akan, I'm not going to vote for a Northerner, you will go out and vote. And given the two, given their track, and given where they are coming from, we believe, we are not taking any vote for granted, but we believe that against John Dramani Mahama, Ghanaians will still have to go out and vote. And given the two, they will prefer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia any day.
Mahmoud Bawumia, or does he have the backing of the Akans, like, you know, how people out there are saying? Again, I'll use what people are saying. Does he have that kind of backing?
A number of polls have happened prior to what is going to happen on Saturday. You can take time off, see his performance in Ashanti region, his performance in the Eastern region. And personally, as a member of the team, I have gone to some of the Akan areas, some particular constituencies, worked there for ages. And I tell you that it is not a case because he's a Northerner, the Akan people are going to say we're going to stay behind and not vote for him. He is the candidate of the new patriotic party. And people believe in the party so much so that it doesn't really matter whether he's a Northerner or not. I believe that the people will still come out and vote because they know what the new patriotic party represents, and they know what the new patriotic party is capable of doing for this great nation of ours, Ghana.
One thing that people like is the fact that he's young.
That is it. We've even heard people from the NDC say that you should vote for a younger candidate. And given the people who are putting themselves up, I mean, he's young, he resonates with the young people. I mean, look at his team. The people around him working for him, they're mostly young people. This is not to say that we are putting the older folk, no, they have a role to play.
But I actually did have a conversation with someone. The person said the fact that he's young means that he's going to give a lot of young people hope.
And he is proving that over time. He is proving that over time. Today, go to his office, go to his campaign. He is working with the young people, and he believes so much in the youth. That's why people like myself, even me, I wouldn't describe myself as so useful. But hey, we fit into the team. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is actually the future of this country. And I pray and hope that people come along, we give him the opportunity, even as a vice president. I believe that he's distinguished himself so much so well that, look, for once, the position of the vice president has come into prominence. Before Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia became the vice president of Ghana, we've had so many other vice presidents. Sometimes Ghanaians even struggle to remember who was vice president at any particular point in time. We had Eko Nkense Aka, we had Professor Mills, we've had Aliu Mahama, we've had I think that John Dramani Mahama, before he became president, before Dr. Bawumia, he can actually stand up and say, whilst I was vice president, I led this project, the digitalization agenda. People will have whatever they want to say, that is moved from the economy to digitalization. But this is the foundation of building a strong economy. We cannot build a strong economy when we cannot plan. And for us to plan, we need data to plan with. And so him leading that agenda is building the foundation that we are going to build a very solid economy.
What happens if he becomes the flag bearer of the party? Who now becomes the vice president? How do we run the country? Or will he decide to step down as a vice president? Or he's still a flag bearer, he'll still, do his duties, perform his duties as a vice president?
In the time when we had that near constitutional challenges, the passing of Atta Mills, we realized that the position of the resignation or the absence of the vice president was not actually couched out very well in the constitution. We had to be innovative to create where Pakwesi Amisata had to go to Parliament to be vetted. It's all something that I'm sure that one day when we come to tweak our constitution, we'll have a look at that. But him being a certain president, vice president, and running the campaign, I don't think it's anything. It's not going to be the first time that we have seen that. I recollect, I think Atta Mills ran elections in 1996, right? Oh, in 2000. as a sitting vice president. It's not the first time it's going to happen. So there's nothing unconstitutional about that. There's nothing ethical.
Yeah, we know it, but won't it
wrong.
affect his role as a vice president? Because you have to be campaigning as a flag bearer of the party.
I mean, today he's campaigning, but he's still a vice president. I mean, his
Is the campaign
work
not
ethic,
affecting?
his work ethic alone. I mean, there's a man who works probably 18, 19, 20 hours in a day. I don't think it's anything that will actually interfere with his role as a vice president of Ghana. His marching and his marriage, those two roles perfectly. And I'm sure he can do that into the elections in 2024.
Saturday we go to the polls.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And you're looking at the percentage?
The polls are giving us a very handsome percentage. I mean, in the ranges of 70%. But I am still expectant. I still want us to push it to about 75 to 80%, because the reason I want us to do that is that when you win elections and you win it emphatically, right, then your opponents will not have what it takes to be able to distract you, because they know that, look, the majority of the people are with you, and so whatever they have will not be significant enough to cause any distractions within the governance process. So we are expecting Saturday.
Saturday, it is. We hope to see you on Monday, dancing to the victory tune.
In fact, Monday will be too late. I'll be here if you want to see me at Saturday afternoon, Saturday
You'll
evening.
be here.
I'm
right. Thank you so much for being here. We are super grateful. And Honorable Hussaini Issa is on the ticket, or he's actually a part of the campaign team for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and they go to the polls on Saturday, and they're hoping to get a 70% lead as to the other opponents. So hopefully they'll get their 70% lead. He's told delegates why they should vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I am not a super delegate. You are a super delegate. The decision lies with you. My name is Roslyn Felly. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget that I didn't do this alone. Sieduwa was here, and tomorrow we are all gathering at the Blackstone Square for Chalawate Art Festival. You can join us, okay? So please be there. Let's see you. Let's have a conversation. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.